Tonight on Panorama, a care home for the elderly.
It's just totally sadistic.
A daughter takes matters into her own hands to protect her mother.
So I just dumped her on the bed.
2 nights inside an elderly care home, filmed on secret camera.
You could hear the poor lady cry out in pain. People were being treated with less respect than slabs of meat.
And the fight to prevent other vulnerable old people suffering the same abuse.
How can you actually go into a home where abuse has actually happened and it's literally been caught on film and then turn around and say that it's compliant?
I'm on my way to see someone whose actions could help change how we treat older people. It's personal for me. My mum needed to live in a care home for the last 3 years of her life.
Hi. Hi, Fee.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you. Come in.
Jane Worrell's mother, Maria, was mistreated when she lived in a North London care home.
This is some photos of Mum.
She's beautiful in that, isn't she? Gorgeous.
Yeah. I really couldn't have asked for a better mum, really. I just feel like as a person, she's just got the biggest heart, always laughing, always joking, just really strong, really independent as a parent. You know, I would always kind of go.
But then Jane's mother became ill and needed more and more care. Maria was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, the most common form of dementia. Eventually, she could barely communicate and needed help with almost every aspect of her life, including personal care.
Hello. I kept her at home, living independently for as long as I could. She started falling over a lot, and then one day just came round in the morning to find that she hadn't moved at all from her bed, and she couldn't move.
Jane reluctantly picked a care home for her mother, a care home called Ash Court. A new build block nestled in the middle of a residential North London square. A 60-bedroom home on 3 floors, which provides nursing and respite care. Jane chose it after reading a report by the national regulator, the Care Quality Commission.
I was still kind of, you know, naive to a lot of it. But, you know, reading the CQC report, and it had an excellent rating, which is obviously all you've got to go against as a gauge of what the care homes are like, and it gave it an excellent rating.
Even though the CQC said Ash Court was excellent, Jane began to worry about her mother.
6 weeks in after her arriving at Ash Court, I noticed that she had bruising on her arms, bruising on her hands. It was like fingerprint bruising, really, now. When I look back, it's like small fingerprint bruising.
Jane was told Maria was bruising easily because she was taking aspirin. Months later, Jane was still worried. She decided she had to do something.
And she just seemed so upset and down, and I just felt like the only way I'm going to know is if I record it. I wasn't even thinking anything at the time. I just thought I just wanted to see what my mum's life was like. So we just decided to buy this small digital camera. It just looks like a digital clock.
Jane's first attempts to film in her mother's bedroom failed. The camera was either positioned so that it only saw the bottom of the bed, or its memory ran out. Then, on June the 17th, the camera worked. Everyone who entered Maria's bedroom for more than a few seconds was recorded. The sound quality is poor, but clear. Although we've cut down the 2.5 hours of footage Jane filmed, we haven't left out good care or good carers. This is 2 nights in Maria Worrell's life at Ash Court.
This is then putting my mum to bed.
Yeah, at 5:30.
Yeah, well, I'm quite shocked it's 5:30 actually. I thought it was a bit later than that. Because normally they would have done sort of 6:37, which is still early, but 5:30 is really early.
The 2 carers from the Philippines lift Maria by her shoulders. Although Jane has watched the footage before, this is the first time I've seen it.
So they've just dumped her on the bed.
Dumped her. And she doesn't know what's happening.
And she's got arthritis. So now they've just chucked her legs on the bed as well.
And then walked off.
I asked a leading specialist in dementia care to watch the footage of 2 nights from Maria's life at Ash Court. He says unless there's a fire, staff should use a mechanical hoist and painlessly get Maria to bed. Her care plan calls for a hoist, and they were available.
It's like being treated like an object, like a sack of potatoes moving from A to B, rather than this human being that's on the receiving end. And you know, if you have dementia, how do you cope with something like that? You know? Who goes to bed at 5:30 in the evening in a room that is stark and bare with nothing to look at? So what is this person going to do for the rest of the evening?
Maria had been living at Ash Court for nearly a year by the time Jane hid a camera in her bedroom.
And they're not speaking to you.
No, they're speaking Filipino, but that's because I've never known what they were saying.
We've translated what they're saying over Jane's mum. It's unclear what they're talking about. But very little is about Maria or her care.
How frightening for her. She looks bewildered.
Well, I can see they've hurt her now.
Absolutely.
You'd throw a bag
on her head. Lovely.
And that pulling like this.
Oh, my goodness.
Her wrists are really sore. Like, all her joints are really sore. So all of that yanking and chucking.
It's as though she's cattle or something.
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
totally.
like you see farmers doing that when it's... Oh, gosh.
They should be putting a sheet under Maria to move her, not yanking her. Specially designed slip sheets were in Maria's bedroom.
And you see all these things, like where I saw the bruises, now make sense because it was all fingerprint marks and on the hand.
So the bruises, now that's them gripping her by the arm.
That's supposed to be her
and that's their
going
job.
to bed. You know, that's your evening.
Later that same night, a different carer briefly visits Maria. And comes back 40 minutes later with a colleague. There's no greeting for Maria when these 2 carers arrive to bathe her.
So again, there's no sort of, hi Maria, you know, we're coming in, we're just going to...
They switch the TV on for their benefit.
And this is the whole time she's been in bed since 5:30 till now, just lying and staring at the ceiling.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Good night, and just leave.
My job's done. Good night. Enjoy your
TV's
sleep.
off
We don't
for
need
their
it on
benefit,
anymore.
yeah.
9 hours later, early morning, the same 2 carers are back, this time to give Maria her morning bath. Maria has been in bed for 13 hours.
Yeah, this is the morning. I think it's the same 2 that you've just seen. So they're probably coming to the end of their shift.
The carers start talking about life at Ash Court and their colleagues. They don't paint a happy picture.
Because there's no joy, no love. Yeah. So when everybody comes, one that isn't experiencing what you see, am I the one that said it should be one person?
While they're talking, Maria tries to resist them removing her sheets, so they pull harder.
She's just ripping her
Just
sheets
ripping the
off.
sheets off. The way they just grab hold of her limbs. Look at that, it's just that whole body. They just slapped her away
Slapping her hands
again.
yeah.
The carers start talking about staffing at Ash Court.
When they come, give people only 4 people. So manage to do something residents. Why not do it just gently your way? If you didn't finish, you know that, oh, these people, they need more. They need more hands.
They soon begin talking about their low wage.
What do you expect? And after that, they pay you £6.50 or £6.70. Where you start. Don't end it. Continue. You broken your back leg.
Our expert recognises these sorts of comments from other homes.
So they're angry themselves, aren't they? This is the thing.
And, you know, it is true, care staff find it really difficult. They get paid very little money, as this lady's just saying. But actually, with no more staff, that person's experience could be completely different. But unless you address these care cultures, then they just get left to fester and fester and fester. And that is where you get these kind of really unacceptable practices that just need to be, you know, taken out.
Enjoy your sleep.
The carer is wishing Maria a good sleep, if only between her morning bath at 6:30 and her breakfast 2 hours later. We don't know if Maria slept or just stared at the ceiling until one of the two carers who the night before put her to bed roughly walks in. She's here to feed Maria. Later, after breakfast, staff did take Maria out of her room as usual, but by then Jane's camera had stopped working. Its last recording is at 9 a.m.
Well,
No word of a greeting, no good morning, just walk into the room.
And that TV's been off the whole time.
Yeah.
And I specifically told them, look, don't just leave her lying there, let her have a TV or a magazine or something. It's porridge. And she's also got a cooked breakfast there as well.
Just nothing.
The carer starts giving Maria breakfast, then breaks off to switch on the TV so she can watch it while feeding her.
So she's finally put the telly on.
Oh, because she's looking at it, that's why. There's no speech at all.
And there's this switching from spoonfuls of porridge to back to scrambled egg and whatever else it is that... You know what I mean?
Maria is being fed too quickly. The carer gives a spoonful roughly every 13 seconds. Even when a carer that Jane believes is a nurse passes through to help give medication.
She's choking because it's all getting shoveled in.
It's not the only time Maria's feeders are impatient. On the second night, Jane's secret camera was filming when Maria was given this drink.
And that's her drink for the evening. What can she do? She can't write down help, she can't say help, she can't get up and run away. She's just got to endure it, and that's what's horrible.
Maria's first day being secretly filmed at Ash Court is over.
I mean, to me, it's the whole sequence. It's everything. It's being put to bed in that manner of, like, you know, it's painful. You're thrown into bed. Nothing's told what's happening. It's a new day. It should be a new beginning. There's no communication. It's shoveled in. There's no joy. There's no tenderness. There's no empathy. There's just nothing. I was horrified to see that was a day in the life of my mother.
Jane took the secret footage out of Ash Court.
The clock had a little memory card in it, which is what you would then put into your laptop to view the images. I wasn't aware what I was actually going to see, so I just felt completely at ease.
Sitting at home, Jane saw the rough handling and speed feeding and was horrified.
I just thought I want to put it in for another time. I wanted to see if it was a one-off.
Yeah.
Really, really hard decision.
But worse was to come. 3 days later, Jane put the camera back in her mother's room for a second night. It's just after 7 p.m, and against her daughter's requests and the home's policies, a male carer is alone with Maria. He's giving her her night bath.
Well, he just shouldn't even be in there.
No, he shouldn't.
She's frightened already.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, you're just pushing her over.
So I don't know how he's actually got her into the bed.
Playing it again, I can't see anything that could have provoked him to hit Maria. He mocks her.
He's twisting her arm.
Gosh, sorry, that's really inhumane.
Yeah.
This male carer is 30-year-old Jonathan Aquino. Ash Court hired him in the Philippines, where he was a qualified nurse, and arranged his work permit to come to the UK in 2008. The Metropolitan Police later interviewed people who knew Jonathan Aquino. No one suspected him.
Colleagues, other residents there, other families of residents there knew Jonathan as a perfectly amenable sort of chap. Obviously, having seen the CCTV footage, one sort of questions, well, why was this? Did he chose to sort of chose a different demeanour when he's on his own? I don't know.
It's 7:15. After hitting her, Jonathan continues giving Maria her nightly bath.
Oh, dear. Gosh, I can't imagine what your mother must have been feeling, thinking.
Terrified. What can she do? She can't shout for help. And he pulls her off the bed.
Remember, Jonathan shouldn't even be in Maria's room, and Maria should be moved by 2 carers using slip sheets.
Good grief. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a head. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah. Oh, damn. Oh, yeah.
In all, Jonathan slaps Maria 6 times.
Just one final slap just to make sure.
During the 7 minutes Jonathan is filmed in Maria's room, he never speaks except to swear or to mock by imitating her.
That's hell.
It is hell.
Absolute hell. Oh, dear. First time I've seen it, it's just awful.
It is awful. I mean, you can imagine. I screamed, actually, when I first saw it.
Jonathan Aquino leaves Maria's room at 7:20.
I just remember screaming and jumping up, and I just wanted to tear the house apart. And she's just so vulnerable. She can't get up, she can't call for help. It's just totally sadistic.
Jane drove straight to the care home and showed the manager her footage.
I was just feeling physically sick, and the person that I just wanted to be with was my mum. I just wanted to go to her and scoop her up. Eventually, when I did get to her, I was just like, you know, it's going to stop now, Mum. You know, you're safe now. It's not, you know, none of this is going to happen anymore.
All 5 of the main carers Jane filmed were suspended, and one of those 5, Jonathan Aquino, was arrested.
I can remember him not answering any questions to the police in the interview.
What was his demeanour during that interview?
It was a bit of a blank, vacant look. Whether or not that was something that he chose to put on to try and forget it and not recall what had happened, I don't know. But it was very much, he was there in person, but bizarre.
Both the police and social workers took action. Although the manager of Ash Court suspended all the staff that Jane filmed for any length of time, Jane felt the company then wanted to sweep it under the carpet. The then chief executive wrote to Jane a month after her mother was assaulted, saying now was a good opportunity to move forward positively. Jane needed support. She came here to the Relatives and Residents Association, a small national charity based around the corner from her. The head of the charity is horrified that the care home didn't prevent the abuse in the first place.
How could 5 different workers not know that she had to be moved gently? How could anyone managing that home not notice that a hoist was not going into that room? You could hear the poor lady cry out in pain at the way that she was being moved. That doesn't suggest a one-off problem. It suggests a deep cultural problem in that home where people were being treated with less respect than slabs of meat.
Jonathan Aquino had been arrested for assault and ill treatment. but Ash Court was still employing the other 4 female carers. The chief executive wrote to Jane saying her mother's treatment was not gross misconduct and that all 4 would be returning to work.
They were then going to go and put these people back after training, you know, 4 days training and being supervised. Again, they didn't really consider it gross misconduct, so that they were actually about to go back to work. I was just horrified.
5.5 months after the manager of Ash Court watched Jane's footage, the company finally sacked the other 4 care workers.
We asked the owners, Forest Healthcare, to talk to us. I wanted to ask why they didn't act more swiftly to sack care workers who manhandled and speed-fed Maria, why they didn't prevent the abuse in the first place. They refused, instead sending a statement which says that what Jane filmed was an isolated incident, even though all of the 5 main care workers had to be sacked.
Forest Healthcare say that even though Jane complained to a number of carers, the family had not raised concerns with the home manager prior to showing her the video footage. After the manager of the home watched Jane's footage, the company requested to see it a second time to complete the disciplinary process. Immediately after viewing it again, they say, "We completed proceedings and all 4 were dismissed." The company says all their staff received full training.
They say Ash Court is committed to working closely with all families and residents, and that they continue to get positive feedback on their care, which is subject to continual improvement.
Jonathan Aquino pleaded guilty to common assault and ill treatment. But it's not just the 4 carers who've been sacked and the one in court. What about the national regulator, the Care Quality Commission, who rated this home excellent?
Inspectors took at least 3 months to produce a report, and when they did, they concluded Ash Court ensures that people who use the service are protected from abuse or the risk of abuse, and their rights are respected and upheld. Jane is angry that the report doesn't warn the public that her mother was mistreated and assaulted. Instead, it says the local council was alerted to safeguarding concerns. They also say that the police were informed that some staff were suspended pending an investigation and that an action plan is in place. The regulator told Panorama the fact that a serious incident has taken place is made very clear.
When I read it, just another slap around the face. I just felt like they'd basically given it a clean bill of health again, bar 2 minor adjustments, and it makes me worry for other people who are potentially about to put a relative into a care home. How can you actually go into a home where abuse has actually happened and it's literally been caught on film and then turn around and say that it's compliant? I mean, words just fail me, I just feel really let down.
The head of the charity supporting Jane is also angry about the CQC's report.
It doesn't say that a member of staff has been charged. It is not an honest document, it isn't a helpful document, and it isn't a decent document. This is really an area where the CQC can do so much if it uses its powers. They can actually cancel the provider's registration if they're shown not to be fit. We would suggest that that provider was very clearly shown not to be fit.
We asked the Care Quality Commission for an interview, but they refused. They did send this statement, though, which says, "We will always act swiftly to protect people where we see poor care." Now, they say they inspected within 4 days of learning what happened to Maria and that they received positive feedback from people at the home. Both they and the council did not find any new evidence of poor practice or abuse. If we had done so, we would have taken action.
Inspectors recently returned to the home, again unannounced, and found improvements. They told us CQC is confident it has acted swiftly and correctly in light of the evidence it has available. Jonathan Aquino attended court 10 days ago. He was sentenced to 18 months. After his time in prison, he may be deported back to the Philippines. Maria Worrell is in a new home where Jane says she is happier.
Exactly. Would you like a biscuit? Hi! All right, how are you? Nice to see you.
See you, I just want to see Maria.
This is Maria. This is Fiona, Mum.
Oh, hi, Maria. Oh. It's lovely to see her in different circumstances.
I know, totally.
How does it make you feel seeing your mum in such a different situation?
Much better, much happier.
She's clean, her hair's done, she looks happy.
Yeah, she is a lot happier. But yeah, she does love seeing.
Maria isn't at Ash Court any longer, but the care home remains open. Social workers say they're monitoring the home closely. The police say they wouldn't advise people to secretly film in care homes. But if this is what 2 nights of filming has revealed in one care home, how many other cases like Maria's are there? Next week, it'll be 5 years since 3-year-old Madeleine McCann disappeared in Portugal. Is a new review of the case by Met Police detectives, initiated at the Prime Minister's personal request, the last chance to discover what happened and even to find her.
For details of organisations which can offer advice and support, go online to bbc.co.uk/panorama or call the BBC Action Line to hear recorded information on 0800 077 077. Lines are open 24 hours and are free from a landline. Mobile operators will charge.